The grocery store hummed with its small, familiar music. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Carts clicked against tile, and the scent of bread and citrus drifted through the air. Outside, snow pressed against the windows like a patient hand. Jack moved with steady care through the checkout line, one hand guiding the groceries forward, the other resting on his daughter's small shoulder. His flannel was worn soft with years of use, and his eyes, hazel flecked with amber, carried the quiet tiredness of a man who had lived through too many storms but still stood tall against the wind. Maisie, his daughter, hummed beneath her breath, clutching a folded piece of paper in her mittened hand, her latest crayon drawing. She never went anywhere without one. Just ahead of them stood a woman who looked as though she belonged to another world. Evelyn, tall, elegant, with sleek dark hair and pale green eyes that seemed to see everything but let nothing in. Her coat was finely tailored, her gloves soft leather, her movements precise. Yet beneath her composed surface, she carried an aura of loneliness, as though no room, no matter how filled, could ease her silence. She placed her items carefully on the counter. Wine, fruit, a loaf of bread. Her black card slid across the scanner. With a whisper, the cashier swiped. The machine blinked red. Declined. The word seemed to hang in the air longer than it should have. The cashier's practiced smile faltered, and a hushed stir behind Evelyn. Someone muttered. Another chuckled. Evelyn's posture stiffened, but her face betrayed a flicker of something raw. Panic, shame, fear. She cleared her throat softly. There must be a mistake. The cashier tried again. Again, the same red refusal. Evelyn's voice grew thinner, quieter. It's never done this before. Jack watched her from behind, feeling the sharp prickle of recognition. He knew what it was to stand in a room where every eye judged, where silence was not mercy, but a blade pressed against the skin. He shifted as if to step forward, but before he could, Maisie slipped from his side. Her boots tapped against the tile as she reached the counter. With both small hands, she placed her chipped ceramic mug down, the one she had been filling for months with coins for the puppy fund. She looked up at the cashier, then at Evelyn. Her voice was small, but carried like a bell. She can use mine. The store froze. Whispers died. Time seemed to bend around that fragile, impossible moment. Evelyn's eyes fell on the little girl, unguarded for the first time in years. The mug was filled with nickels, quarters, a few folded bills. Maisie's gift was no more than a handful, yet it weighed more than any fortune Evelyn had held. Jack's breath caught, a mixture of shame, pride, and awe all tangled. He stepped forward, hand outstretched to pull Maisie back, but stopped when he saw Evelyn's trembling hand hover above the mug. Evelyn swallowed. Her composure cracked, just faintly, enough to reveal the rawness beneath. She whispered, her voice trembling like a flame in wind. "Thank you," but she pushed the mug gently back toward the girl. "No, sweetheart, that's yours. You keep it." Her hand lingered, then slipped into her coat. She pulled out a folded piece of paper, not a receipt, but a letter, edges worn soft. Jack caught the glimpse of handwriting. A child's scrawl. Her daughter's letter, he realized. The anchor she carried, the only weight that kept her steady. The cashier cleared her throat, breaking the spell. "It's all right, ma'am. We'll ring it through." She pressed a button, waved Evelyn's groceries along. A small mercy, born from a child's courage. Evelyn gathered her bags, but her eyes did not leave Maisie's face, as if she were trying to memorize it. Snow had thickened by the time they stepped into the parking lot. The world was hushed, muffled by white. Jack loaded groceries into the back of his old truck, breath rising in slow clouds. Maisie tugged at his sleeve, humming again, seemingly unbothered by the weight of what had just happened. Footsteps crunched behind them. Evelyn's figure appeared through the snow, her coat dusted with flakes, her breath visible in the cold. She stopped near them, her voice low. "Thank you," she said again, this time not just to Maisie but to Jack as well. Her eyes softened, vulnerability flickering like a candle she wasn't sure she should reveal. She extended a sleek black card with her name embossed in silver. "Please let me repay you." Jack shook his head, his voice steady but gentle. "Kindness doesn't run on accounts." Her breath caught. She lowered the card. her gaze tangling with his. Hazel met Green under the lonely glow of the parking lot lamp. Evelyn was a woman used to command, to power, to people bowing to her presence. But here was a man who would not, and for the first time in years, she found herself grateful for that. She left with quiet nod, but the silence between them lingered long after her car pulled away. Weeks passed. Snow deepened, then crusted into ice. Life pressed forward, but something of that night refused to leave Evelyn. She returned, not in sleek cars or polished heels, but simply walking, her breath visible in the winter air. She found Jack at the community center, sleeves rolled up, repairing shelves with his callous hands. Maisie spotted her first, rushing forward with new crayon drawing clutched tight. She held it up with pride. 3 figures holding hands beneath the sun. Evelyn took it as though it were made of glass. Her lips parted, trembling at the sight of it. "I haven't," she whispered, then stopped. She swallowed, tried again. "I haven't received something like this in years." Her laugh broke midway, soft and uncertain. Jack, watching her, saw it then, the loneliness tucked inside her shoulders, the faint tremble when she allowed herself to smile. As winter bled deeper into the season, Evelyn began appearing more often, sometimes with cocoa from Maisie, sometimes with nothing but her quiet presence. She asked about the shelves, lingered in silences, stood a little too long in doorways. Jack noticed she rarely spoke about her life, but he didn't press. He saw enough in the way her eyes rested on Maisie, in the way her voice softened when she said the girl's name. One evening, the 3 of them sat near the fire. Evelyn traced the lines of Maisie's drawing with her fingertips. Maisie leaned against her side, humming, content. Jack watched from the opposite chair, something inside him thawing. He had thought kindness only something to be given, never returned. But here it was, sitting in his cabin, breathing beside him. The final snowstorm of the season came heavy and quiet. On Jack's porch, Evelyn stood with flakes catching in her dark hair, her elegant coat flecked with white. In her hands, she held a letter, not her daughter's this time, but her own. She unfolded it with trembling fingers and read aloud, her voice uneven but true. "Thank you for letting me belong here." Jack stepped forward, taking the letter gently. He folded it once more and placed it on the mantel inside, beside Maisie's crayon drawings. Their hands brushed as he did, not by accident. The fire crackled softly. Snow fell like blessings outside. And for the first time, Evelyn allowed herself to smile without armor. The firelight softened, catching the edge of Evelyn's smile as Jack placed her letter beside Maisie's drawings. Snow pressed quietly against the windows. The world hushed in belonging. In that silence, a truth settled. Sometimes it takes the smallest act of kindness to open a door to family. And if this story found a place in your heart, take a moment to subscribe or share where you're watching from. These stories live on when they're carried by you.